Zephaniah 2 and 8. Zephaniah 2 and 8. I have heard the reproach of Moab and the reviling of the children of Ammon, whereby they have reproached my people and magnified themselves against their border. Therefore, as I live, said the Most High, this is talking about the Chinese and the Japanese. Therefore, as I live, said the Most High, power of hosts of armies, the power of Israel, surely Moab shall be as Sodom. Hear that? The Chinese shall be as Sodom, and the children of Ammon as Gomorrah. You know, you can look at those cities now. The Most High brought fire and brimstone down on those cities. Once again, therefore, as I live, said the Most High, power of hosts, the power of Israel, surely Moab shall be as Sodom, and the children of Ammon as Gomorrah, even the breeding of nettles and salt pits and of perpetual desolation. The residue of my people shall spoil them, and the remnant of my people shall possess them. I mean, they go into captivity. The remnant is the 1/3 of the 12 tribes of Israel shall possess them. They go into captivity because Moab and Ammon and Amalek, so-called Jewish men, had us in captivity, slavery, and bondage for 18 years. This shall they have for their pride, because they have reproached and magnified themselves against the people of the Most High, power of hosts. The Most High will be terrible unto them, for he will famish all the gods of the earth, and men shall worship him, everyone from his place, even all the isles of the heathen. See? So ye Ethiopians also, ye shall be slain by my sword. You ain't get away with nothing either. And he will stretch out his hand against the north and destroy Assyria, and will make Nineveh a desolation and dry like a wilderness. That's our power. So he got something for everybody. He gave it to us. I mean, we done had it from the beginning. Ezekiel 22 and 20, you know, that's my favorite. Ezekiel 22 and 20, as they gather silver and brass and iron and lead and tin into the midst of the furnace to blow the fire upon it, to melt it, so will I gather you in mine anger and in my fury, and I will leave you there and melt you. Yeah, I will gather you and blow upon you in the fire of my wrath, and ye shall be melted in the midst thereof. As silver is melted in the midst of the furnace, so shall ye be melted in the midst thereof. And ye shall know that I, the Most High, have poured out my fury upon you. Now that's your choice. You can choose life or death, because the judgment's coming. And when it comes, where you gonna be? Ecclesiastes 12. In Ecclesiastes 12. Let's hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Say, fear the Most High and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For the Most High shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good, or whether it be evil. He's going to bring everything into judgment. In every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. 2 Corinthians 5 and 10. For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Mashiach Yahushua. The Most High has given Mashiach Yahushua the ability and the power to judge. Everything. He's given him that power to judge. Look at St. John 5:22. For the Father judges no man, but hath committed all judgment unto the Son. That's why we're going to reach the judgment seat of Mashiach Yahushua. That all men should honor the Son, even as they honor the Father. He that honoreth not the Son, honoreth not the Father which hath sent him. See? So, the Most High has given him the power to judge. So now that's why when you go to 2 Corinthians 5:10 again, well, we must all appear before the judgment seat of a Mashiach Yahushua, who's going to judge according to the power of the Most High. That everyone may receive the things done in his body according to that he hath done, whether it be good or bad. So what's good? Romans 7:12. Whether it be good or bad, what's good? Romans 7:12. Wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment holy and just and good. So the laws and commandments, statutes, commandments of the Most High is what's good. That's what he's judging you on. Don't let anybody tell you ain't got to follow the Most High's laws. They trying to lead you straight to hell. Well, I'm going to show you where they're trying to lead you. Once again, 2 Corinthians 5:10. For we must all appear before the judgment seat of a Mashiach, that every one may receive the things done in his body, according to that he hath done, whether it be good or bad. Whether you follow the laws of the Most High or you didn't. You rejected the Most High. He's going to judge you on that. And we're going to find out the condition of the judgment of a Mashiach Yahushua. Look at verse 11. Knowing therefore the terror of a Mashiach Yahushua. Hear that? But he called it destroyer. That's his nickname, this destroyer. Knowing the terror of the Mashiach Yahushua, we persuade men, but we are made manifest unto the Most High, and our trust also are made manifest in your conscience, the way you think. Better understand. So now, let's go to the judgment. He said he's going to sit on the judgment seat, so here we go. Go to the judgment. Revelation 20:12. I saw the dead, small and great, stand before the Most High while Mashiach Yahushua, and the books were open. There are books that's recording everything that we do in this world, and another book was open, which is the book of life. That's everlasting life, with your name hopefully written in the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books, according to their works, according to what you have done to these mortal bodies. You'll be judged. Remember, we're going to meet the judgment seat of Mashiach Yahushua. And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them. So the sea gonna give up the dead that's in them, and death and hell gonna have to deliver up the ones that's in death and hell. And they were judged, every man according to their works, as we just read, whether it was good or bad. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. That's what it's all about, Yasharallah. Our names being written in the book of life, the Lamb's book of life, or you're going to be cast into the lake of fire. Look at Revelation 19:20. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet, all these false religions that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worship his image. These both were cast alive into the lake of fire, burning with brimstone. And the remnant were slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, with sword proceeded out of his mouth, and all the fowls were filled with their flesh. So it all goes together with the remnant that's coming to fight a Mashiach Yahushua. That's why he said, what's coming out of his mouth? 2 Ezra 13:9 is all these, the Army, the Navy, the Marines, and the Air Force of all the nations getting together. They all together with that space station, prepared to fight of Mashiach Yahushua and the 200 million angels that we done read about that's coming. 2 Ezra 13. Verse 8. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they that were gathered together to subdue him were so afraid, and yet does fight. They're going to be afraid, but they're going to fight him, Mashiach Yahushua. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. When we come to judge and make war, but listen what's going to happen. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. It's coming out of his mouth. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight. That's the Army, the Navy, the Marines, the Air Force, all the nations coming together with their military ordinance to fight a Mashiach Yahushua. And out of his mouth, as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up, every one, so that upon a sudden of innumerable multitude, uncountable, nothing was to be perceived but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Ezra was seeing a lot. He's seen a lot. And this going down, I mean, look at 2 Ezra 16. When you go through these books of Ezra, Most High showed him more than he showed Moses. We had lost the law, and the Most High gave it back to us through Ezra. Look at 2 Ezra 16, verse 11. It says, now let's look at verse 9. Look at verse 9. It says, a fire shall go forth from his wrath. We just read about it over and over again. And who is he that may quench it? This fire that he's going to send forth of his wrath, who is it that's going to put it out? He shall cast lightnings, and who shall not fear? He shall thunder, and who shall not be afraid? The Most High shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence? We just seen what happened. There will be nothing but what? Dust and smell of smoke. The Most High, Mashiach Yahushua, shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence? The earth quaketh, and the foundation thereof. The sea arises up with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also, before the Most High, and before the glory of his power. The glory of his power is the Mashiach Yahushua, which he's going to bring in now. For strong is his right hand, which is the glory of the Most High, which is the Mashiach Yahushua, coming in his angelic power, not as a man, but in his angelic power, that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp, and shall not miss, when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. They ain't gonna miss. When they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. Behold, the plagues are sent, and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. We're seeing plagues right now. The fire is kindled, and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth. Like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer, returneth not, shoot an arrow, that arrow ain't coming back. It's going to hit its mark. Nor backward. Even so, the plagues that shall be sent upon earth shall not return again. When he sent these plagues out here on this earth, ain't nobody giving the Most High no credit for nothing. Woe is me, that Ezra is saying. Destruction to me. Destruction is me. Woe is me. Who will deliver me in those days? That's reincarnation right there. Regeneration. He's saying, who's going to deliver him in those days? Thinking that he would be here. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings. The beginning of famine and great death. The beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? See? He was told he was going to rest in this place like Daniel. He ain't get it. He didn't understand. That's what's happening here. Behold, famine, food shortage. Ain't gonna be no food. The food's gonna be, once them trucks stop running, gonna be no food. A lot of places are still not, the trucks not going there. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment, to get it right. This is a holy butt whooping. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness. All the things he's going to do, say they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges, the things that the Most High have done. Look, verse 22, for many of them shall dwell upon earth, shall perish of famine, food, not having enough food. And the other that escape the hunger, you escape the hunger, you have food to eat, shall the sword destroy. You're going to be killed by the gun. And the dead shall be cast out as dung. The dead going to be cast out as dung. And there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down. There shall be no man left to till the earth and to sow it. The trees shall give fruit, and who shall gather them? So ain't gonna be nobody to do this. Plant the food and get the crops. The grapes shall ripen, and who shall tread them? For all places shall be desolate of men. So that one man shall desire to see another, and to hear his voice. For of a city there shall be 10 left, and 2 of the field, which shall hide themselves in the thick groves, and in the clefts of the rocks. So they're going to be hiding themselves in the thick groves and the clefts of the rocks, hiding in the mountains and so forth. And in the orchard of olives, upon every tree there are left 3 or 4 olives. Or as when a vineyard is gathered, there are left some clusters of them that diligently seek through the vineyard. Even so, in those days there shall be 3 or 4 left by them that search their houses with the sword. You hear that? Remember, they covered the house with the sword. There'll be 3 or 4 left of them that search their houses with the sword. And the earth shall be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall wax old in her ways, and all her paths shall grow full of thorns, because no man shall travail therewith through. The virgins shall mourn, having no bridegroom, ain't nobody getting married. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. In the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine, food shortages. It's cold, boy. It's cold, y'all. can continue to read this whole thing. I'm going to jump down to verse 52. It says, "For yet a little, and iniquity shall be taken away out of the earth, and righteousness shall reign among you. Let not the sinner say that he have not sinned, for the Most High shall burn coals of fire upon his head, which said before the Most High power and his glory. And Amashak Yahushai, I have not sinned. Behold, the Most High knoweth all the works of men, their imaginations, their thoughts, and their hearts, which spake but the word. Let the earth be made." Most High know everything. The earth be made. Let the heaven be made. And it was created. And his word were the stars made. And he knoweth the number of them. He searches the deep and the treasures thereof. He hath measured the sea and what it containeth. He hath shut the sea in the midst of the waters. And with his word hath he hanged the earth upon the waters. Hear that? Hang the earth in the universe. He spreadeth out the heavens like a vault. Upon the waters hath he founded it. In the desert hath he made springs of water, and pools upon the tops of the mountains, that the floods might pour down from the high rocks to water the earth. He made man, and put his heart in the midst of the body, and gave him breath, life, and understanding. Yeah, in the spirit of almighty power, which made all things, and searches out all hidden things in the secrets of the earth, surely he knoweth your inventions, and what ye think in your hearts, even them that sin, and would hide their sin. Therefore hath the Most High exactly searched out all your works, and he will put you all to shame. And when your sins are brought forth, ye shall be ashamed before men, and your own sins shall be your accusers in that day. What will ye do? Or how will ye hide your sins before the Most High and his angels? Look, that's why he said what? Lamentations 4:22. How will you hide your sins before the Most High and the angels? Lamentations, because he's gonna bring them forth. Lamentations 4:22. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. Punishment of our iniquity of breaking the Most High's laws is accomplished, 12 tribes of Israel, Yasharallah. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. It's the last captivity. What is he going to do? He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. That's what he's saying. Second Corinthians 16:66. What will ye do? Or how will ye hide your sins before the Most High and his angels? How you going to hide your sins before the Most High and his angels? Verse 77. Woe, destruction be unto them that are bound with their sins, and covered with their iniquities, like as a field is covered over with bushes, and the path thereof covered with thorns, that no man may travel through. It is left undressed, and is cast into the fire to be consumed therewith. Finished. Done. So, when you look at how it's going down, look at 2 Peter's 3rd chapter, 10th verse, 2 Peter's 3 and 10. But the day of the Most High, the Mashiach will come as a thief in the night. You don't know when the thief coming. In the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise. Hear that? He will come as a thief in the night. You don't know when he's coming. And the heavens going to pass away with a great noise. And the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. Hear that? You're going to make a new earth, a new heavens. Saying then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation, all holy conversation and righteousness, looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day of the Most High, while Mashiach Yahushua, wherein the heavens being on fire, so he bringing fire, shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness. Hallelujah. That's right, man. That's what we're looking for. A new heaven and a new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness. Look at he gives us another account of this mushroom cloud. That's all we can think of is like when they dropped that bomb on Nagasaki and Hiroshima in Japan. Look at this. Revelations 6 and 14. And the heaven departed as a scroll, like they gave us in Isaiah 34, 5 and 6. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. And the kings of the earth and the great men and the rich men and the chief captains and the mighty men and every bondman and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and the rocks, fall on us, hide us from the face of he that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb, for the great day of the wrath is come. For the great day of his wrath is come. And who shall be able to stand? Hear this word of the Most High. And with that, I'm going to leave it there. Marinate on that. It's a lot of meat. But it goes even more. You can keep going on and on and on. Because that's, like I said, you ask any prophet, they all talk about this time that we're in now. Prophesying the end of this world. If you like further information, you can reach me, Priest Wam, at P.O. Box 20012, Long Beach, California, 90801-3012. If you like to give a donation, you can donate at www.paypal.me/Shield of Wisdom. We very much appreciate it. And with that, I say, keep the laws of the Most High, statutes of the Most High, have faith in the Most High, by Shalom Mashiach Yahushua, and prepare yourself for the kingdom that's already prepared for you. Let your names be written in the book of life. That's what it's all about, brothers and sisters. Yasharallah. I say, Shalom, I'm out.